Hey mamas, happy Tuesdays and welcome to Mama Talk Live. I'm going to be waiting for my host so that we can start our subject for today. I'm at a beautiful park in Coral Gables, Miami. I've decided that this was a beautiful place to do this talk about how to heal heartbreak. So we're going to be waiting for, there she is.
Hey mamas!
Hey Molly. Pretty in pink.
Yeah, rocking the pink today. It is, after all, the month of February. The
That's
love
right.
month.
The love month, which is one of the reasons we decided to do the show on heartbreak, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah. So, hey, mommies, thank you so much for joining us. Say hello in the comments below. And also, really quickly, jump in and just go ahead and share this broadcast because I know that there's other people out there that need to hear this topic. But I should tell you what the topic is first, probably.
Yes. Welcome to Mama Talk Live. I'm Valentina Azara.
And I'm Molly and Luna, and this is where American Mama, myself, sits down with Latina Mamacita to discuss all topics relevant to mommies.
That's right. So grab your latte or your cafecito, whatever you call it, and we're going to discuss something really deep today. So
yeah,
let's talk more.
On today's episode, we are talking about how to heal after heartbreak. Now, mommies, whether you're married, whether you're single, or you're dating, I think this topic will apply to you because on some level, I think we might all be able to agree that there might be a past love or a past relationship that might still need some healing. And so we want to help set you up for success and to move past that pain.
Yes, or even if your relationship or your heartbreak is just starting and it's just raw and all of these emotions, and you're going through that dark pain that comes with heartbreak. And we both know, Molly and I both have gone through some heartbreak, and it was devastating for the both of us. And we know that there is a path out of that, and that there is healing, and that it actually can be a catalyst to transforming your life, although you might not believe it at the moment. So we're going to give you 3 tips that will help you get past your heartbreak so you can live that life that you so deserve.
So mommies, help the other viewers out today. And as we're going through and giving you these tips, make sure you're leaving comments below so they can do a quick scroll through. If they're busy running out the door doing something, they can still get the meat of this topic. Deal?
That's right. So we're going to start with tip number 1. And tip number 1 to help you get past your heartbreak is finding a support group. A group of people or a person that really is going to be there for you to give you that support that you need so much, because it's very lonely when you are going through a heartbreak, and whether it's a divorce, which I went through, or it's a heartbreak of a boyfriend that you loved in a relationship that you put your heart and your soul into it can leave you feeling very, very lonely. So something that's very important is to surround yourself by people that love you and will support you.
Yes, it can be very lonely. And while I have been with my current partner, my husband, for the last 10 years, and it's been quite a long time since I've experienced that raw pain, there's an element that can linger, but I can remember it very vividly. And so I'd like to add that when you're looking for those support people, friends, relatives, maybe it's another outside community, make sure you're choosing individuals that aren't going to come down into the pity pit with you, but who are going to focus on reminding you of your own qualities and assets that you have to give, and not talking in such a way of, putting down the other individual.
Yes, not putting you down. Make sure that these people that you bring into your life during this moment of raw heartbreak are people and individuals that are going to be lifting you up and that are going to bring joy to your life. Because like Molly said, if these people, if all they do is just basically help you talk bad about your ex or just let you stay in that negativity mode, it's never really going to help you get out of that hole that you so desperately need.
He was such a jerk. You can do better. I told you to dump him forever ago. You got this, girl. Like, no. In the moment that might feel good, and you might think, oh, well, she's being a really good friend. But in reality, it's just keeping you in that lower vibration. And if you really want to heal and dig up that, just release that pain, because maybe you're the type of woman who is ready for commitment, for that long lasting love that you're going to grow together. You know, like I said, I've been with my husband 10 years now, but right before meeting him, I went through a horrible breakup. It was like one of my darkest times right when I met my husband.
Yes, and so that's why it's important, because you might think, at the moment of your heartbreak, you might think that it's like the worst time to meet somebody, which, I think if you focus on yourself, that is important, but you have to be with people that are reminding you, like Molly said, of all the things that you have to offer to this world, and that will give you positivity. And I think that's the most important thing about this point, is to surround yourself by people who are going to give you positivity and that don't let you stay in that mindset of negativity, which is so easy to be in when you're going through that moment. It's so easy to feel sorry for yourself at that moment. And we're not saying by any means, by the way, that you're not, that, to not vent, because I think one of the things that you do need to do is vent during that time, but just be mindful and be aware not to stay in that mindset of poor me, I'm a victim, and he was such a jerk, and whatever the story may be, because the stories that we tell ourselves in our head will either push us forward or they'll hold us back in the past, and in that space of negativity.
It's the stories that we tell and it's the words that we speak. I think that we underestimate the value of our tongue, and that our tongue can actually be painting the picture for the future that we desire. And when we're in that really intense emotional state of being, and if we are just focusing on all the negative aspects of how that relationship broke up and ended, and you're not focusing on the good qualities or the opportunities that might be coming your way, you could, in those moments, by allowing yourself to be surrounded with other friends who want to, oh, I'm there for you, girl, like he was a jerk, you deserve better, like hanging down in those low vibration conversations, and you're speaking about it repeatedly, you're actually asking the universe for more of that same type of relationship. So be extremely mindful that you're surrounding yourself with high vibrational, high quality friends that are open-minded, that will allow you to vent, but vent in such a way that focuses on your attributes and the opportunity that's at hand now that this relationship has come to an end.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to go further and say that, like, it's not easy to do this.
No.
When you're going through such a moment, it's very easy to want to, like, just stay in the victim mentality, because I speak from personal experience, and I was lucky enough that when I was going through my divorce, and it was a very dark period of my life, that lasted a while, and I actually got, like, depressed. That's the truth. I had to go and really, like, seek a big support group. And I think my friends and family, my parents specifically, and my best friend and sister were really the ones there to be guiding me and holding my hand through the situation. But they did not allow me to feel sorry for myself for too long. And they were my wake-up call in many ways, in moments where I felt just hopeless and, like, mad and angry, because those are all the sentiments that we feel during those times. I had my sister and my best friend tell me in different ways and in different days, Valentina, like, stop it. I can't hear it anymore, that negativity. And I'm very grateful to them that they were able to snap me out of it, of that train, and, like, get me off that train and into the train while it's very important to be mindful with, get you off that negativity train, because it's going to be easy for you to stay on there, and you need people to pull you out of there and put you on the train to happiness.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
The other thing, go ahead.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
The other thing I did want to share that goes along with this, Molly, like, of finding a support group and surrounding yourself with people that will get you out of that train, is also paying attention to the content that you're consuming. Because I think just as important as support groups is making sure that whatever you're allowing to enter your space at that moment has to be filled with positivity. Because if you're watching a television show that just reminds you of your heartbreak, and or if you start watching something and you just start and it sends you into this whirlwind of like crying and just into that mode of depression even more, you got to really like tune into yourself and just turn it off, because you know that it's not helping you, and look for things that fill you and make you stronger. And I can't emphasize that enough, because if you do search for those things, and there are so many good things in this world and so much good content out there if you really look for it, but if you do fill yourself up with stuff that will make you stronger, you will become stronger day by day.
I love that you bring that up. Fill yourself up with content, media, news, magazines, podcasts, songs, that if you, what you're desiring is long-lasting, passionate romance with a companion, I said long-term already, then only focus on that. I've been married nearly 10 years now, and I'm flipping through Netflix, like looking for something to watch, and I see like divorce, or like, I can't think of the titles of the shows, but, and I'm just like, nope, cancel that, because I'm not trying to speak life into what it is that I don't want. So
yes.
Great point, Valentina. Thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely. So, after that, Molly and I discussed that the number 2 thing that we really think has helped us, getting past our heartbreak, is the number 2 tip is to reclaim your identity, to go back to yourself, and to go back to the things that you love. Because sometimes I feel that we get lost in, our identity gets lost sometimes within a relationship. And when we find ourselves alone, we need to go back to ourselves. Right, Molly?
Oh, I totally agree. I'm laughing at myself a little bit because I've been with the same man for 10 years now. And I'm like, I used to love 70s rock, and now there's no music on my phone anymore, because I've totally really kind of like taken on his genre of music, just as a small example. So it's true. Like, part of the pain when you're breaking up with someone is because you guys had created this co-identity that didn't exist before the two of you came together. And now that you're apart, there is a bit of who am I sort of period. But we want to invite you to go back and to revisit the things that you loved doing, watching, listening to, exploring, the types of events you like to go to before getting into that relationship, and just try to get back in touch with who you are.
Yes, who you are. Absolutely. And I remember vividly what basically got me out of my depression, and it's absolutely linked 100% to this number 2, and it was reclaiming my identity, realizing that I could get over my depression if I focused on the things that I really loved. And the thing, for me personally, it's dance. So when I realized when I'm dancing, I'm Valentina who's happy. And it would be those moments, those fleeting moments, that I would realize, wow, there is happiness after a relationship or after this heartbreak. And oh, there are things to look forward to that has nothing to do with my ex, So really going into yourself and remembering what were those things that brought you joy beforehand, and going back to them and revisiting them. Like, I remember rediscovering literally the joy of reading. It was something like I knew that I had that in the past. Like, during my teenage years, I loved reading, but for some reason, somewhere along the way, I sort of forgot that I liked reading during my relationship. And my relationship with my ex-husband lasted for 11 years. So it's a very long relationship. And it's not to say that I didn't read, but I lost a bit of that love for reading. And I rediscovered that when I was going through my heartbreak. And then I started looking for things. Once I discovered, I'm like, oh my gosh, I like this. And then I had forgotten I liked this. I started looking for more and more things. And then the more you sort of start focusing on the things that you love, the less you're now focusing on how horrible things are because you're no longer with that person that you were with. And I think that the most important thing with this concept is just redirecting your focus. It's like, rather than focusing on the past and why you're so miserable and depressed because you no longer have this person in your life, it's basically going like this and changing your eyes to something else and saying, okay, this is another path, and what is not in that path that can excite me? And I think the way that you do that is going back to your inner child, sort of, and like finding out what is it that I used to remember that I used to love to do and that I no longer did. And like you said, Molly, like the television show, that, sometimes you forget things that you love to do when you become involved in a relationship.
The television show? Oh, What?
Yeah, remember how you saying that you had forgotten that you liked that show so much?
No, I was
Going
talking about music, about 70s rock.
that's what I meant. That's what
Yeah.
I meant.
um,
Oh, it's a music show.
but you're talking about redirecting, and so that ties into our third point, okay, which is redirect that focus from all of the stuff that's going on outside of you that you cannot control, and go inward and do the inner work that you need to do to get yourself back to a love-centered state of being, of feeling confident in who you are and what value you have to offer this world and any, future mate that you may or may not, I'm sure that you will. We're monogamous creatures by nature, I think, but getting back to the truth of who you are, owning who you are. And I know it's challenging, but it's so rewarding when you just turn off the things that you don't have control over. Turn off your focus to the things you don't have control over.
Yes. I hope there's a truck going by, so there's a little bit of noise over here. But adding to that, I just want to say that whoever's listening out there, you might not be hearing the things that you necessarily want to hear. Because I remember vividly my sister telling me when I was in my state of depression and just utmost, where I thought there was no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no way I'll ever be happy after this, after my divorce. I remember my sister, Molly, specifically telling me, Valentina, picture that only one door has closed. And there's so many doors in front of you that have opened. You just have to pick which one you're going to go through. But now the possibilities are endless. And I remember being so pissed off, if I can say the word.
Yeah.
So mad at my sister for telling me. And I thought to her, she doesn't have the slightest clue about what I'm going through and how miserable I'm feeling right now. And for the longest time, and I remember that it's so vivid, that memory, because I remember being so angry at it and her thinking, like, who is she to tell me I have all these doors in front of me that are open and then only one door closed behind me? I'm divorcing like the father of my child. I thought he was the love of my life, and da 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 da. And ironically, so many years later, I know that what my sister said had so much truth to it. So what Molly and I are saying in terms of, doing the inner work, it's probably the last thing, Mama, that you want to hear.
Yeah.
Because it's a very difficult thing to do. It takes courage to look inside. It takes courage to say to yourself, because when we say inner work, it means going inside and also reevaluating, did I have a part in the demise of this relationship? Was there something that maybe in the next relationship I want to hold myself accountable to and that I want to change?
Great point, because in every relationship, there's a teacher-student role, and you have the opportunity to learn lessons and then make new choices if you choose. I will say that while I've been with the same man for 10 years, I can still take myself back to that pain point in an instant. So I know that right now it might sound very like easy, and you might be right in that the thick of the pain. But I'm telling you, if your goal is long-term, passionate relationship with one person, specifically a man, I guess we're talking to mommies here, so with one man, while you're in that pain, please do your best to be thinking positive thoughts to yourself. That's what I mean by the inner work. Putting your inner critic in check and only focusing, we talked about redirecting, reclaiming your identity, and really only focusing on, I've got this, like I'm confident, I'm beautiful, I have lots to offer this world. Maybe you do the self-reflection work and recognize, like, I made some mistakes, but I'm not going to do that in the next one. And what I want to share with you is that even when you're in the thick of the pain, be open. Still be open, because you never know when the love of your life, the man that you're supposed to be with, is going to introduce himself. So for me, I was like, I had sworn off men, like inside. I never said anything to anybody, but I was just like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't need a man. Like, I'm hurting. I'm like really hurting. Okay. But I had just made a declaration within myself. Like, if I'm hurting this badly because somebody did to me or said to me, like, this is not the way to operate in the world. Like, so I made a firm declaration within myself that I'm going to figure out how to be happy for me. I'm going to get back in touch with who I am and what it is I want. And No joke, 2 days after I made that declaration, I meet Javon. And by no means was I ready to jump into a relationship with him. We very much developed a friendship before we decided to get intimate. But had I not been open minded during the thick of that pain, I may have never met the love of my life.
Yes, it's funny how once we make those declarations, like you said, to ourselves about how, you know, we're going to be fine on our own, all of a sudden the right person comes along.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just to go along also with just like that inner work, there's a lot of self-compassion work I think that goes into it, and forgiveness. And it's not just forgiveness maybe of the other person, what that other person might have done to you or not did to you, or maybe, you know, or maybe it's what you did to that person. But I think it's a lot of forgiveness in general, forgiving yourself for having gone through that relationship, you know,
Yeah.
and forgiving yourself for the mistakes and forgiving that other person. And interestingly enough, you know, I always thought that the person that I was the most upset about during my whole divorce was my ex. And I ended up, when I did the inner work and I went deep down enough, I realized that the person that I was the maddest at was myself.
Yeah,
And
we
so I
are
had
our
to learn.
worst critics, but we can also be our own best friends. So,
Yes,
Mama, choose to be your best friend. Choose to
yes,
speak kind words to yourself. Choose to forgive yourself. Choose to open
yes.
yourself up for more love and know that you are worthy.
And you know, this inner work, I will say, it's something that, you know, is the tip, you know, the most important tip to getting over past heartbreak. But at the same time, we all know, Molly, that deep down inside, that this inner work is something that's going to be accompanying us through our lifetime. You
Yes.
know, our inner work is something that is going to follow us through our journey of life, because no matter what, we're never finished with our inner work. It's something that continues to, you know, to accompany us through life if we want fulfilling lives, if we want to live life with purpose, if we want
Mhm.
a life that's whole.
Prosperous
That's
and
what we're
creative.
doing all the time is,
Mhm.
yes,
There's nothing more powerful than having self-awareness. And
yes,
sometimes that self-awareness might be ugly and you might be like, oh, I really need to change that about myself. But that's powerful because now you know. Because ultimately, Mama, you have the power to create your life, your love, your relationships, your bank account, your career. You hold all the power.
yes, absolutely powerful. And it's very powerful when you say to yourself, like, my homework in life is making myself the best myself I can be. So in my here, I always say to my son, like, your lifetime homework is always trying to make you a better version of yourself. Like, I know my greatest homework in life is making Valentina the best Valentina that I could be. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I promise you, because I know it's this journey, I think of, and that's why in reality I got turned on into this all these things of self-help and self-improvement, because my relationship breakup and heartache was a catalyst to transforming my life. And I know that if you do this, that it works. So we're speaking from experience when we say that, you know, and we wanted to do this specifically because Valentine's Day is coming along. We knew that for many mamas out there, Valentine's can
It's
actually
tough
be a very
time.
sad day. Yeah, it can be a very tough day. It could be like just another reminder of, like, oh my God, I don't have somebody next to me. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and find that support group, reclaim your identity, and do that inner work that is going to heal you, because ultimately you will heal yourself.
Yes. So mamas, take your power back, heal the heartbreak, and just live a beautiful life that you deserve, Mama.
Yes, yes. And ironically, because Molly mentioned it with herself already, but you know, she met her husband during the time of her heartbreak. Ironically, I also met my husband during my worst time, and I thought it was impossible. I wasn't even like wanting to meet anybody as well during that time. And I think life just has a way of working for you if we allow it ourselves to believe that it works for us. It has a way of compensating us when we're true to ourselves, when we're being authentic, and when we're trying to improve ourselves and become better people.
It does. And if you're finding yourself in that darkness, know that the light is on its way and that it's going to be shining even more bright because now you have the contrast of the darkness. So
Yes,
embrace.
yes. And I know it sounds cliche to say it, and everybody says it, but I will say it.
There's hope for you. You've got
this too. Yes, there's hope for you, and this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Absolutely. Well, Mommy,
Yes.
we sincerely hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you leave us a comment down below letting us know what was your biggest aha.
Yes, and if you are going through something that you feel that you can't get past during your time of heartbreak, also ask us questions. You know, because we do want to be there for you. And if you're going through something, we know just how difficult this can be. Let us know, and if we can help you, most definitely we'll do our best to give you some good tips.
Yes, Mommy, you can reach me on all social platforms at Mindful Mamas TV. And Miss Valentina, where can our mommies find you?
Yes, you can find me on all social platforms on @mamasconganas, or you can visit the website at mamasconganas.com.
Perfect. So we'll see you here next Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Absolutely. Okay, mamas. See you later, Molly. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And to all the mamas out there, you can do it.
You got this, Mommy. All right. Love and be loved.